Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And you can see there's the dollar index looking bearish. Surprise, surprise. Let's see what's going on over on the charts. I wonder if they're still reflecting the last month. That's what I'm wondering. And there's the answer to that coming right now. Yes, it is, because it's at 105.14. And what are they reflecting here? They're showing it to be at, they're showing it to be at 105.09. So that's all right. Now the question is it, I didn't have that high a settlement yesterday. As you can see over here on the way it went into the, I guess it's the buy back in here, right there. Yeah, that's where it went. Did it go to the buy there? Yes, it did. So get rid of that. Remove drawing. There we are. And so it went into the buy there, and it closed down. They're showing us a settlement of 104.90, something like that. But over here they're reflecting it as like 105, almost 60. So that's why it looks a little distorted there. You can see it tried to push into the sell, but we've got green dots, so it didn't really succeed at pushing into a daily sell, and it's back in there now the last 3 days since here, and that one right there reflects right here after that day. Oh, you can't see that again. Let's try that back to the beta. Oh, let me get the chat line up too. That's a good idea. Let's get that chat line up, because wouldn't it be nice if someone actually asked a question? And I would be like, oh, I want to answer that question, or I know where I can find the answer to that question, or God, I love that question. Or remember, there's no stupid questions in trading. There's only short answers or long answers, but there are no, mistaken, dysfunctional, there's just short answers and long answers. That's all it ever comes down to. There's the Robin. Hey, Robin. And so what we're looking at there is that in the beta, it's got some real distortion going on here. There's Friday, and there seems to be breathing space there, which is curious. And then, oh, that's right, because it's the futures contract, whereas I get spoiled. I'll tell you, I really do enjoy this, 7 days a week Bitcoin. That is really good on the beta. It's always exciting. Now they've shown us that they're pushing into, it closed in the weekly sell last week. So it pushed in that weekly sell, and you can see the pressure on the daily there. So finally, remember yesterday I said tomorrow, last night we'll know, but you won't know until this morning, and there it is. It closed in the sell. All right, so we got a weekly sell going on, and this is the Bitcoin. Interesting. And we had our title yesterday was something about Bitcoin and inflation. And I have my doubts that it influences, I think there's in my mind, Bitcoin is a substitute for central banks. And so when it comes to inflation, if it's going down, that means a couple things. One is that, they're starting to have more confidence in central banks. I like to say not. And so it's not that. And so then the second thing is that they're selling down the Bitcoin because there's more supply than demand at the moment, something of that nature. Now, we're really not that far off the hunt when it comes to, it's trading in a range between 60 and 70,000, which is, okay, so it's an aggressive range. It's like 17% range. And that's all right, because this thing has that ability to, go down into the 40,000 area and find itself sitting at the 70,000 area no more than like 4 or 5 days later. But Bitcoin and inflation, I don't really think that it has much of an analogous to it. That's why I put that headline up there, just to see how people would react to it. I think that it's more of central bank trust or not trust. I think that's really what it comes down to. Federal, government trust or not trust. And in this case here, it says to me that the central bank is definitely not, our central bank right now seems to be upside down. When they come out and make bold statements like we're going to cut 7 times, this is back in November of 23 now, going into December, we're going to cut 7 times this year and next year. And here we are in late June now, June 18th, and they've never cut. And that's, January and February are 2 months. March and April are 4 months. May and June are going on 6 months. December was 7 months of last year and part of November. So, 7.5 months, 7 months, and they have not cut. And the only reason they need to cut is because, the political, the administration is having its issues. It's losing voters in every direction. Thank goodness they imported 12 million new voters because, they're losing about 25 million existing voters. Right now, Mr. Trump, in a battleground state in Iowa, which is a bellwether, is leading by 18%, almost 20%. So that's like, 75, 25, 80, 68, 70, 30, something like that. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of numbers. And so the administration needs to cut the interest rates just to prove that I'm not sure what they try to prove anymore. Nothing makes any sense. So I'm not even going to go past that point. So that's why Bitcoin has, its own universe the way it trades, because it is the opposition to the Federal Reserve. It's its own currency in its own way, depending on what currency you buy it in. That's what it comes down to more than anything else. So where do we drift to now? Let me, oh, good, that worked. Let's drift over to the euro. Let's see what the euro is up to this morning. And I enjoyed, I like the idea of going in and looking at, let's see, where are we at right there? Let's go to the euro. I like going in and looking at some news and seeing what's going on, see if anything is lining up to our algorithm. Now, what is that? That is, okay, that's the dollar index. So it's trying to climb, it's in a weekly buy from last week. And, it's doing a pretty good job there. It keeps on climbing. And same situation on the beta, too. It's in a 2 weeks in a weekly buy. All right, so from there, where do we go from there? We go over to the euro. Let's go to the euro. Minimize that. And let's go to the euro. There's the euro. It's 3 days in a sell, still in a sell, and in that weekly sell. And so we're not too surprised, but we really have a hard time believing they're going to go through the, that Fibonacci line right there. I kind of think they want to keep it higher up, actually, and it'll be a higher low, and maybe it won't even take out this point here back in May 1st. It slid into the weekly sell and has had a poor activity from it. It's not like they're destroying the poor currency. Supposedly they're going to be lowering interest rates or doing something in Europe. I don't know what they're trying to do at this point. They're trying to do something. I think there's a feeling that they're going to try to stimulate they've already tried and then stopped because of the Federal Reserve not following through. They don't want to distort things any more than they, next thing you know, it'll get labeled as being, what do they call it, when they're manipulating their currencies. That's what it is. They'll go around going, oh my goodness, Europe is manipulating its currency. It's like, no, it's not manipulating its currency. They're just trying to anticipate the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve's got this, what they call a motor mouth, and all they do is talk about things they can't do. And it's like, wouldn't it be nice if we had a Fed chairman that just did not ramble about everything in sight and pretend that he knows what's going on when the poor guy still thinks inflation is transitory or whatever, or interest rates are transitory or whatever. Who knows what this guy thinks at any given time that's accurate. I mean, we know what he thinks about that's inaccurate. He's proven it to us over and over again that he's dysfunctional. And it's a shame because he seemed like a nice, fellow. He seemed to understand the markets, but I guess he's just very weak. And so I guess the government is just beating him up. The president of the United States is pressuring him. The administration is pressuring him over and over again, and it makes it so ridiculous. Nothing more than that but ridiculous. All right. So from there, we slide over to... From there, where do we slide over to? We slide over to the news. I want to see the news. Let's see the news since no one's asking any questions. I want to see the news. And let's see what's going on in Zero Hedge this morning. Let's put it up on the screen so you can even see it. So right there. What does she say? Hot on campaign fail. What? Hot on the campaign fail. Secret Service agent robbed. Oh my God. White House Spock's mocked after Biden's propped. Oh my God. Deep fakes, you say? Okay. Wow. That's a crazy bunch of stories coming out of the White House. So I guess we're going to have to click on that. I want to know, Secret Service agent was robbed? The man carries a gun. He's allowed to shoot. I don't understand it. He's the security for the President of the United States. That's, none of that makes any sense. Oh my God. That is amazing. What a crazy, see what I mean? It's such a crazy place over here these last 3.5 years. It's just strange. Let's see what that story says. Let's see if we can find any of the facts there. Let's see. Video showed President freezing on stage. Yeah. I want to know about the robbing of the let's see. Who robbed a guard of the president? Shoot the son of a gun. That's the headbutt. He does that headbutt thing with the Pope. That's entertaining. Oh, this must be the robbery. Same night, a Secret Service agent was robbed at gunpoint in Tustin, California at roughly 9:30 local time. The Tustin PD said. The agent was able to fire their weapon at the armed robber who made off with a bag belonging to the agent. Okay. A member of the U.S. Secret Service was the victim of an armed robbery. Oh my God, what a crazy place we have nowadays. It's just weird. And Mr. Biden's dogs keep on biting his bodyguards. It's really weird. Ah, God, it's so strange. All right, let's see if we get some financial news out of this page. Retail sales disappoint in May. April revised even lower. Okay, so now let's go over to the stock market and take a peek and see what's going on. It's not moving anywhere. Let's show you that. There's the intraday chart. And maybe it was up in the 55 area before the news. But once that news came out, let's see if we'll make this larger. And then we can identify, there it is right there. So it was up here in the 52 area. And as soon as the news came out, it knocked a little bit, then a little bit more. And now it's down towards the lows of this low here. But it's an intraday movement of nothing. 10 points, 5 points. It's not exactly like they're panicking or something like that. All right, that's curious in its own right. So let's go back to the news again. And let me see what's going on there again. So retail sales disappointed in May. All right, April revised even lower. How many times have we told you, don't trust the number you see, because that's the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And we all know that they have to always clean them up the month later just to make sure that they don't get all screwed up. Consumer survey shows rising bullishness. In what? Bullishness in consumers? I guess so. They're thinking Mr. Trump is going to win. Europe stays stressed. Dare to catch falling knives in Europe? Let's see. Part-time online MBA. Futures flat as tech stocks rise for 7th consecutive day. Three copper charts we are watching. Let's see. Another EV, I heard that this morning, went bankrupt. Electric vehicle startup. Fisker files for bankruptcy. Let's see what else we got here. Steve Bannon predicts leftists will sentence Trump to multiple years in prison. Sounds right. They're going to fight us every step of the way, of course. So I'd imagine in July they will, try to lock Mr. Trump up in jail so he can't campaign, which again will bring in hundreds of millions of dollars and tons of more voters. Before you know it, he'll be beating Biden by like 30%. It's just insane. And like I said, he imported 12 million new voters, so they're illegal, but they're going to vote either way. They are giving them voter registrations and the whole bit, and everybody's going, this is crazy. How's this happening? But Mr. Biden does it. Just like they're going to lock up Mr. Trump on 34 counts of fraud or criminal something or another, but we don't know what the crime was. So he's been convicted of 34 felonies, but we just don't know what the felony is. I love that. What a world we're living in nowadays. Just the word itself is condemning. It doesn't mean anything to anybody, and maybe they'll have to bring in higher courts and remove all this because 4 out of 12 is not unanimous, but this judge found 4 out of 12 unanimous. That's really weird. So 4 definitely told him, yep, he's a criminal. He's a convicted felon now. He did 34 felons, and then you ask him what were the felons? Well, they're felons. No, I know. But like, what was the felon? What's the law that he broke? He broke the law. He's a felon. Okay, what law is it? Who's on first? I feel like I'm listening to an Abbott and Costello routine. It's like a comedian game. All right, let's go back to the currencies and see what's going on, because I saw the great inflation fighter outperforming everybody, even the dollar. The great inflation fighter is doing that. We're going to move you over to the cable, and there is the cable. Cable's kind of stalled. Not bad. 3 days in a sell. Flirting. Let's look at that. Just a little teeny weekly sell. Minus 0.ZZZ62. So it's just 61 now. Ooh. Just so tight. But let's take a look at the best of the best. That's the great inflation fighters of Switzerland. And look at this. Remember, traders, when this is going down, it's gaining against the dollar. Not like the euro. See, it's a euro-dollar pairs trade. And when it's going down, it's losing against the dollar. Okay? And so when we go to the Swiss, it says dollar Swiss, not Swiss dollar pairs trade. And so it's the Swiss is taking out the lows here. That's a good sign. We've been in a weekly sell since back in here. And so, the Swiss is doing a fine job outperforming the rest of the market. I guess I have to say that the cable is second in there, but it's still in a daily sell. And it's going sideways more than it's going down. But, it is doing a fine job. Just a fine job. Now we go over to, let's see. So I'll show you that fine job again, what he's doing. See, it's even higher than 3 days ago. And so it's just, just kind of stumbling along. Any pop-up will put this thing right back into the saddle. Riding into the sunset. From there, another underperformer, the yen. Yen, as it goes up, it loses value because this is a dollar-yen pairs trade, not a yen-dollar pairs trade. So when it goes up, it's losing against the dollar. And so you can see here 4 days in a buy and going on a third week in a weekly buy. And then we zip over to the great experiment. A couple days in a buy, and now it's pushed into the sell. It's playing inside this range. We're happy about that. You see the weekly is trying to pierce the zero line. It's at 0.0091. So, look at that one, 0077. They're pushing on it. Now, when this goes down, it's gaining against the euro because it's a euro lira pairs trade. And so it's getting very, very close. Look at 64 now on the weekly. 0.0064. Back to 73. So we're getting some good action in the euro pairs trade. And that is, let's see. That is the action we're seeing there when it comes to the great experiment, the Turkish lira against the euro. From there, we go to South Africa. Start looking at the metals complex and see if we can figure this one out. And again, I saw this morning it was moving down again against the dollar. There it is. It's gaining just like the Swiss. It's gaining against the dollar. They probably, I mean, I don't know what they did, how they're going to deal with Zuma, who lives in, I don't know what you call it. He lives outside the country because he's wanted for murder inside the country or something like that. So, and they have him on film, machine gunning people down. Ooh, what a political leader that is, huh? Mussolini, move over. And so you have here, the dollar the dollar South African rand. When it's moving down, usually gold is going up. And we are in a daily buy in gold. And we are in a weekly sell from last week. So that's cool. Let's go look at the gold. Gold. And there is the gold. Down a little bit, nothing major. It's only like $1 or $2 off. You see it's 5 days now in a daily buy, right in there. But what's curious out of it all is that the weekly cannot get out of its own way. It's constantly still pushing the downside. And it's not willing to give up on it either, which is even more curious in its own right. So, the index itself, or the currency itself, and the gold itself are really trapped in this montage of what to do and when to do it about changing the inflation. Remember, gold is an inflation factor. Usually, it's like Bitcoin in the sense that it's a substitute for the central bank. The only problem there is that the central bank is also the biggest gold trader in the world. And then you have all the other central banks buying gold. So they push down the futures contract and own the physical and sell the derivative. It's a really odd situation there. And we've seen them do it before. They will call a force de jour and not deliver. So it's not exactly the easiest place to trade. Options are probably the best thing in that. From gold, we'll go look at Silverado. And you see silver. We're going to show you the beta. And we're going to show you here, right there. See, silver is trying. It was a green-red yesterday. And it's just on the hair of holding up at 0.12. Closed in the weekly sell last week. And then you can see over on the beta itself. Right there. See, it's the second week in a weekly buy, going on a third week. Tomorrow we'll see where they're putting it on Wednesday. And we should be seeing our new beta any day now. It's done. It's working. And they're just putting Mark is putting the platform together so that it'll be just like this, only more accurate. And then we'll go from there. So there it is right there. Silver just stumbling along just like it's doing on the beta. On the downside, we are a little surprised that it's parked underneath the 30s, but we're hoping. Mike's muted outside speaking time and only. Huh. Very interesting. Now from there, from the silver, we'll go over and look at copper. There's the copper. It's in a sell for a second day. It's going on a fourth week in the weekly sell. You see here it's been in a daily sell, and now it's on the second week of a weekly sell here too. And yeah, it's been stumbling its way down. We haven't seen, what's interesting is we have not seen, we've not seen any, what's the story for that? We're not seeing any news about China at the moment. Everything's kind of quiet. Usually, I guess that third big bankruptcy last week, I guess, it was at the beginning of the week last week, I guess it was. So, you're talking about 8-9 days ago. You could watch the copper, each of one of these bankruptcies of their major real estate corporations, their global companies, really put a chill into the Chinese market. Matter of fact, let's take a look at, since we have the beta up there, let's take a look at where the Shanghai closed last night. Right there. Well, they popped it a little bit. Not bad after getting knocked down. So for the last 2 days, it's in a buy. And, they pushed it in the buy on this one here. Then it got knocked down again. And then, you can't take it because, in other words, we're in weekly sell, so you don't buy these things. And so you can see here they perked it up again, trying to do something with the stock index. Anything at this point, since it's at like the season lows, and you can, watching copper is really insightful to the economy over there. In other words, not the economy itself, but how much money the central bank or the government is going to put into the economy. It's a very strange circumstance that they have going on over there constantly, because they're not able to they don't really function well as in a even in a socialist semi-capitalist society. They're still they negotiate a little bit, but overall the government says it is it. They make it, that's what it is. You just do what they say. Or you end up in some type of work camp or something of that nature, it seems like. Or worse, you disappear. Like the guy who did Alibaba. He just disappeared for like 6 months out of nowhere. He was just nowhere to be found. So, it's just not a... the economics over there is very strange. And when we look at copper, it's the only way we can really view what they're doing over there. Out of all the things they do, when copper starts to fall apart, it tells us that there's some problems there. Let's see what else we got going on here. Let's go to from copper. Right there, copper. We'll go to platinum. There's a platinum, got into a buy yesterday, lifted up a little bit more today, made a new high, and then it's trying to back off, but still holding up. You can see that right there. Still holding up, even with it down for the day. We are in a weekly sell since up in here in the over the 1,000 area, and the fast went into a sell in the 1,050 area. So there's a lot of pressure on the metals to do something right, I guess you could say. Try to do something that helps. I guess as the Trump House the battleground, Wisconsin. It's okay, and so we're seeing the metals complex overall just stalled, and then the copper one and the platinum one, the two industrial metals, kind of diving more. And silver's a cross between precious and industrial, and it's sideways. So, and then you have gold in a daily buy and like 5 weeks in a weekly sell. So there's not. We always used to say on the trading floors, we used to say there's not a lot of conviction for making that trade. In other words, they just don't have the conviction or desire to get involved in it. All right. So, let's see. We're looking at. From there, we jump over to the energy sector. We take a look at crude oil. Crude keeps on finding ways to go up. You see it right here. We're going to show it to you on the beta, like that, while I go over here and get it up on the other screen. But there's the crude oil, and you can see here, it's it's a second week in a weekly buy, and let's see, let's put it up over here, right there. And so over there, we're just on the first week of a weekly buy. We're real happy with the beta, the way the beta does that. Can't wait now to have it, live on our machines any day now. So from there, we go over to, where do we go from there? Let's go to North Sea oil, Brent. And there it is right there, doing the same thing. You're looking at 8 days going on 9 days now in a buy, 2 weeks in a buy. We're going after the $85 area. What else? I guess that's about it when it comes to that. Let's show it to you on the screen right there. You see that right there? 2 weeks in a buy, and that's right there. And then it's been 8 going on 9 days in a buy. And then we throw this on right here. You see it been in that buy since back in here. What an interesting product. It's the third most active product on the planet. And then, currencies are the second most active, things traded in the world. And then obviously bonds are number one. And then from there, gold kind of slides in behind, much less than crude, of course, but slides in behind crude. The metals contracts in general. And then from there, way, 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 way down is the stocks. Yeah, I'd say the bond market's 1,000 times more active than the stock market. It's that active. All right, so from there, we go to nat gas. Right there. There's natural gas. And it also is just pulsating along. And it's on our let's see if we can show you on our screen, which is a little surprising. It's trying to roll over natural gas. Let's just show it to you here. You see it's doing the same thing right there. Natural gas, and it's like 5 days in a sell, and it's trying to head for the weekly sell. Over on our other platform, live, you see the same thing. You know, 5 days in a sell. Actually, this is 4 days in a sell, and it's just going into the weekly. Now the fast went into the weekly back up in here, and so that would give you some confidence if you're, especially if you're trading binaries and options type of things, because this way your limit, won't get stopped out. That's natural gas. And then what we do is we slip over to the energy company down in Spain. Let's go find that. It was going after the $20 area yesterday, and we cheer that on. We want lower energy prices in Europe. You can see there, second week in a weekly sell, and you can see here it's 6 days in a daily sell. And we are threatening. Let's see, how do we do this again? Like this. See here, there is the 20 area. Right there is the 20 area. So it's at 20 and a half, twice 2 days in a row, under 20 and a half. And we would be pleased as punch if we could see this product just fall down. Yeah, I mean, nothing better than seeing people not freeze to death in the wintertime. That's why the Greens are disappearing in the parliaments lately. They're really pro-freeze to death to save the solar system, because they're surely not saving the Earth. You've got to save the whole thing. You can't... I understand. What was it? Something happened on Uranus. Oh, I know what it was. Uranus has exploded in glow. It's glowing like mad now. The whole solar system's having its issues, and these Greens don't relate to that. They keep on thinking that it's just Earth. They got that pre-Galilei attitude about it all. That's what the Greens are. I wonder if they're connected to the Vatican. The Vatican did pardon Galilei. Galileo. I guess it was about 12 years or so. I guess it was under Pope John Paul. I think he was the one that pardoned Galileo, I believe. And so, for 500 years, he was basically considered a bad person. And so, these Greens have that attitude, like pre-Galilei. They don't, obviously, they're anti-Galileo, because they think that the solar system is only one planet, and it's Earth, and we control it. They kind of forget that there's a sun in the sky also. That's the weird part about the greenies. They don't rationalize the sun. It's a weird thing. Look throughout all their literature, and they'll tell you that the sun has no effect on our weather. Talk about flat earthers. When they talk about flat earthers, they must be talking about the green people, the people in the green movements. All right, from the energy side, that's the one in Europe. So that makes us all feel pretty good, because at least it's starting to look the right way, and people are not going to be freezing to death this year. It looks like, especially with the European Parliament now switched to the center right. You can see the energy sector has dropped very dramatically right there. Boom, from 25 basically down to almost 20 now. So that's a nice drop. And I think the lows we saw last year were in the high teens, like 19 and change, So wouldn't we like to see it back down in the 12s? Wouldn't that be wonderful? From the 30 area. That's what I want. I want to see 2/3 of the energy sector in Europe drop in price. Allow it so these people can live. All right, so from there, if anybody cares to look at anything, let us know. You're always welcome in the middle of my ramble, one way or the other. You're always welcome too. I see that they're still talking about the retail sales up 0.1% in May, weaker than expected. Huh. Okay. So, I don't think we have much to say about that. We know that the stats will be changed again against the administration's desire of, in other words, the good number comes out now, and then the bad number the previous month gets readjusted. So that's what happened today. All right, let's go. We saw Did we see Nikkei? No, we looked at the Shanghai. So there's the Nikkei. Nikkei's about flat. You're looking at 3 solid days and a sell going on a 4th. And we see it starting it went into the weekly sell last week. So it's in the weekly sell from last week. And tomorrow we'll see, there'll be a second week starting of a weekly sell. The Kospi. Right there. Now, Kospi is flirting with the highs of the last couple of months. It keeps on bouncing in and out of daily buys, and it's closed in a weekly buy last week. Very nice. Very, very nice. From there we go to Taipei and look at the index there. Look at that. Going on a 5th day in a daily buy, taking out the highs of the last 5 months. And you can see it's 10 full weeks now in a weekly buy. Not bad. Huh. Not bad at all. Then we go to Hong Kong. We've seen what Shanghai's doing. It's bouncing up a little bit. Now, Hong Kong is not today. And it's in that daily sell now for, what's that? That's for 8. This is the 8th day in a daily sell. And you can see this is the 3rd full week in a weekly sell. Going next, tomorrow will be starting a 4th week. We'll see of what the weekly is telling us. And then from there, what do we got from there? Let's go to Singapore Straight Time. Oh, no, you know what? Let's just check out Philippines. See what the Philippines are up to. There's the Philippines. Now, they've been in a daily sell now for going on a 6th day. There's it 5 days? 4 or 5. Yeah, 5. That the 17th. And that's today's the 18th, and let me just make that. Oop. That's the 18th. Oh, they're not showing us the 17th. Maybe it was a holiday or something. So it's 5 full days. Then that's the Philippines, and now we'll look at the Singapore Straight Times. Woo doggy, look at that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Going on 11th day of a sell. They seem to be closed. It doesn't seem to have a Monday there either. So I'll spend a holiday over there. New moon something maybe? I don't know. You see here, 2nd week in a weekly sell. And we're starting the 3rd week now. Now, the Singapore Straight Times doesn't seem to be that upset about anything. It was the highs were like around 3,350, and here we are cruising around 3,310, 3,305. So that's not too bad. That's pretty good actually. All right, from there we march our way over to. We look at the All Ordinaries Index right there. You see that's 5 days in a sell, and today they had a Monday trading, and you can see they're lifting them up today, and we're not. You see, yesterday was trying to lift up, which is interesting. It was reading it. It picked up on that, but we're 2 weeks now, 2 full weeks in a weekly sell, and the fact that it's trying to get past the 0 line here last week says that the next one could be much more shallow starting this week. And then there's the Nifty 50, now all-time highs again in a 4-day sell, 5-day sell, 4-day sell. They were closed on Monday too. And you can see here we're in weekly buy for 2 full weeks, and so starting a 3rd week now. So you can't take any of those sells. So. And just watch them fly till we get back into that daily buy. And then from there we go to Europa. Let's start off with the stocks 500 or 50, whatever they call it. You see here on a weekly basis, also 2 full weeks in a sell, starting a third. You can see here 7 days in a sell. And the pressure is on that. So we go to, where do we go to from there? We go like this. Let's go to the DAX. Right there, there's the DAX. And the DAX is 4 full days in a sell and 2 full weeks in a sell, going on a third week. So they're putting the pressure on that without a doubt. The pressure is on. Then from the DAX, we look at the CAC 40 in Paris. And what do we got there? 4 full days in a sell. But look at the way they popped it today so far. It's up and trying to move down. And then, we got 5 full weeks in a sell and starting a 6th week now as we speak. Then from there, we go to London and look at the FTSE. There's the FTSE, which was like, 5 days in a sell. We're 2 full weeks in a sell. And it's trying to lift up today. And you see you got a green kicking out there. And so look at yesterday's daily algorithm. It was trying to start lifting through the 0 line. But the predominant amount was underneath. So you see that strength today is not that much of a surprise. But again, weekly sell. So we have to stand by and just watch. No reason to try to think about playing the long side. And then from there, we go over to the US of A, and let's see what they're up to there. And we'll take a look at our very first, which is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which has been in daily sells now for 5 full days and 3 full weeks right there. And at the same time, you can see it's going nowhere. And today it's down just a little bit. Yesterday it was down and found a way to get back up. And matter of fact, no more than when we finished looking at energies, the Dow was down 45 points. It is up 2 points now. So it just, it's got a, it's the slowest moving of the, it's only up about under 3% for the year, whereas the S&P 500 is up like 14% for the year, and the Tech 100 or NASDAQ is up 18% for the year. And everybody's starting to talk about, oh my goodness, it's getting a little too tight here. They're saying, this is not good. This is not good. They're concerned. All right, and then from there, we go over to the S&P. There's the NASDAQ. Let's do that. That's up 18% for the year. We're up at the moment, and we've been in a daily buy now for, there's 4, and then there's 8, and there's 10. We're on the 11th day of a daily buy, and we are all 10 weeks in a buy. And then we slide over to the S&P 500 right there. And the S&P 500 is cruising the same way. It's where's that? Let's see. Get rid of that. Go like that. Go like that. There we go. And so the S&P 500 is that? Yeah, that's the S&P 500. Let's show you the top of it. It's like I said, it's up 14% for the year, and it's going on a third week of constant buying. But on the daily, for the weekly, it's 10 weeks now on a buy. It does not seem to care. It's not letting go. And whereas the Dow keeps on vacillating back and forth and trying to get in and out of buys, this thing doesn't seem to be having the same characteristic, which is curious in its own right. I mean, we're looking at a Dow that's only up under 3% for the year. That's an awful small gain, Let's see. All right. So from there, we'll go over to the weakest of our 4 stock indices here in the States. Right there, the Russell 2000. See, that's in a daily sell now for a couple of days. It's 2 full days, trying to be a third, and it's down at the moment. It started up and is down. And then you can see here 3 solid weeks in a sell. And there's not much more that can be said about that. And at the same time, it's nowhere near all-time highs compared to all the other products. And at the same time, also, it's not even, it's playing away from the highs of the last 6 to 8 months. So, and this is a very speculative index. Over 50% of the stocks in it have not earned any money for over a year, and I think it's like 60% of them, not a year, and something like 40% over the last 2 years have not earned any money. So in other words, they're not making any money in these stocks. They're young companies. The biggest capitalized one in there is something like $5 billion. That's about it. So it's almost like a penny stock type of thing. And then we go over to the Bitcoin. We look at that again. Because it acts in many ways like a stock index. It acts like a currency. It acts like a bank. It has great attribute. It can transfer money at the speed of light. It's very easy to do, and so the only challenge you have is the currency itself when you try to convert it out of Bitcoin into the regular currency itself. So what did we talked about here today? I guess we could say that central banks are losing credibility more than anything else. Central banks are losing credibility, especially the Fed. Lost people's trust. I think that's the way to really look at it. Or better yet, losing. Let's go like that. I like that. So that'll be the title today. Central Bank losing people's trust. And that's really what's going on. And that's why you see the confusion and the distrust and, Mr. Powell rambling all the time. It's very odd. Anyhow, this is Doc from North America. We will catch you all tomorrow. Same time, same channel. So, happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be Happy to Hump Day tomorrow, which is a holiday in the United States. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Have a safe and smart day. Ta-ta.